What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/EntitledParents. Okay, so today we're reading one story because it's very long, and it's called Entitled Aunt Thinks That Because We Are Family, I'm Her Personal Slave. Backstory: I was 15 and I got my first job. I worked at a commissary as a bagger. For those who don't know what a commissary is, it is a grocery store or restaurant on a military base. Remember that part. I was super excited for my first job. I could finally make my own money and not ask my parents all the time. Until it happened. The moment my entitled aunt realized I worked in a grocery store, she made me do everything. Bag/pack up her groceries, find her foods whenever we are there while she sits on her phone. I was her little maid, or her slave, as she told me. Not once she did anything, nor let her son, he's not entitled, do anything while I'm around. Here's the story. There's me, entitled aunt, nice cousin, amazing manager, cool coworker, mother. Part 1. The start. The moment I turned 15, I went to browse jobs because I always wanted to make my own money. I looked extremely young. I'm part Asian, and my family, when we get older, don't age or we age incredibly slow. So we have baby faces in my case. I looked like I was fresh out of middle school. So many people didn't believe that I was 15. I asked all over the place. The Burger King that was hiring, Chipotle, Target, Walmart, etc., etc. But every time I was met with a stern no from the employees and the managers of the place. I was getting really upset. I know that there were places that were hiring at 15 years old. I've looked it up. Until while walking into the commissary with my mom, she met up with an old guy who we will call Mr. B. Mr. B and my mom were talking straight away while I was too busy looking at the cheese aisle because I love cheese. I heard quite a deep voice call my name, so I turned around and I was met with Mr. B smiling at me. He asked if I was looking for a job and I nodded, not quite sure where this was going. He said that they could always need some more baggers. For those who don't know what a bagger is, it's where people bag your food, put it into your shopping cart, and take you out to their car to put it away. My mom thought that was a fantastic idea, where I was a bit hesitant. My grandma and Mr. B were close. They would always talk whenever she came over, but I didn't really know him too well. My mom got the paper from him, told me to fill it out when we got home, and that's exactly what I did. Now the fun begins. Part 2. Getting juicy. I worked there Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. There were a bunch of people constantly, so many customers. It was quite fun working in a fast-paced workplace. I was a couple months in already, so I got to the point where I was one of the best baggers there. Quick, polite, fast, and I always stayed in my lane. There were 19 lanes. Number 1 lane was the fast lane. Only one bagger was stationed there, but you could get a total of over $200 from staying 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. As a bagger, you worked in groups of 3. I worked with older teenagers, but we were all cool. We worked on rotation, so whenever we got tipped, we won't be confused on who gets the money. Baggers work only for tips, but most of these days, we can make well over $100 worth of tips. If the days were bad or slow, we would make only about $50 or so. I've met my fair share of quite mean people, but I didn't care at all. I knew the commissary like the back of my own hand. I knew where everything was, and I was always quick to get it. Lots of people relied on me, and I liked it. Mini story. I was working my shift with 2 people, who I'll call Mikey and Melody. Mikey was always the jokester, trying to distract me from my work, but he was as efficient as me when it comes to people and bagging. The times where customers came in with carts filled to the brim with food, we were excited yet dreading it. Because usually we would get such a good tip from it, sometimes $20, but other times a sweet $100 tip. The woman was behind this elderly grandma. We call her Sweet Grandma. Sweet Grandma was very polite and smiling at me because it was my turn and I was very polite towards her. We joked a lot. We asked them, paper or plastic? And whenever we got the answer as paper, we would be seething because it would take too long to open it and double pack it and just, it was crazy. And sometimes people would bring in their own bags for us to put them in, like what Sweet Grandma did. The young woman behind Sweet Grandma was groaning and sighing, tapping her foot and glaring at Sweet Grandma as if Sweet Grandma soiled her favorite cookies. We would help them to their car, as stated, pushing the carts and either slowing down for the customer if they were old, or catching up with them if they were more mobile. The moment I grabbed Sweet Grandma's cart, which was kinda packed, the young woman widened her eyes, and the conversation followed.
Oh my god, hurry up!
Me, putting on my polite face, "Ma'am, she's elderly. Don't worry, Melody will be serving you soon." Young woman glaring at Melody.
She looks new. I don't want a slow new person doing the job. I want you.
Me, looking at the grandma. "I'm busy, as you can see." I gesture at Sweet Grandma, who is politely waiting for me. Melody, a bit irritated, she has to deal with this lady. "Paper or plastic?"
No, I want...
Mikey cuts her off with a sharp, ahem. Me, already wheeling Sweet Grandma and her cart of groceries away. Good luck, Melody and Mikey. In the end, I got an amazing tip and a butterscotch candy from the grandma while Melody and Mikey were stuck with her. Not sorry. Back to the real story. Part 3. The Challenger approaches. I was doing a normal shift. I was on lane 18, which was one of the best lanes to be on. The lanes 16 and up were always the best spots for baggers since more people come through them rather than the other numbers which were further down the line. I was working with Melody and a new guy, but he learned fast, and he was quite nice and cool. I was helping Melody, the baggers that don't have a person help the one that has a customer, when we heard a small crash. Me, Melody, Calvin Coolidge, which is the new guy, and a couple other baggers saw that someone pushed in the line and caused the lady to drop a few cans. I send Calvin Coolidge to quickly help her before helping us with this customer. Once Melody went out, it was just me and Calvin Coolidge. The person that pushed the lady in line was my aunt, entitled aunt. Me and her locked eyes and her face lit up. Oh no. If you know someone, the customer could ask either the other baggers or the cashier or both if they can switch spots. It happens all the time. Entitled aunt asked the cashier, who in turn asked Calvin Coolidge. He didn't mind and stepped back for me. Entitled aunt smiled at me even brighter and I sighed. Her son, nice cousin, was there with her, so it wasn't too bad. Me putting on my polite face. "Hello, ma'am, paper or plastic?" Entitled aunt stares at me in confusion.
Oh, P, you know what I want. Just hurry it up.
She was rummaging in her large purse for, I guess, her wallet? Phone? I don't know. I stood there, confused. Some days, entitled aunt wants plastic. Other days, she wants paper or double paper. Nice cousin came up behind me and quietly said, "She wants plastic today." I thanked him and started packing. Bagging was simple. Meats with meats, cans with cans, eggs in a paper bag and plastic for cover, bread in a paper bag, etc., etc. While me and Calvin Coolidge worked quickly, I went to grab the pack of ribs when I felt a sharp sting. Entitled aunt slapped my hand and gave me a hard glare. The cashier told her not to hit the baggers while working, but of course, entitled aunt ignored her. She then grabbed the meat and examined it closely and dropped it on the conveyor belt in disgust. Here it comes.
The meat is black!
AKA spoiled. It was clearly visible. Why she didn't change it when she first got it, I have no idea. The cashier apologized and asked me to get a new one. I nodded and told Calvin Coolidge to keep it up and darted away. I ran through the candy aisle into the meats, grabbed a pack of ribs, bagged it, and ran back. Entitled aunt smirked.
Say, can you get some chocolate and put in my bag? I would like some chocolate pretzels, that big pack of M&Ms, gushas.
She listed every candy imaginable, and then some. As a bagger and a worker, I nodded, grabbed a handheld bag, and gathered it all. Once I came back, I was catching my breath. Melody came back and boasted at how she got $15. Before I gave it to the cashier, entitled aunt snatched it and looked to see if all the candy was in there. It was, but she scoffed. Entitled aunt glared at me.
Where are the gushers? Go put this all back right this instant.
I was too tired from running around the store. Not that athletic. Me out of breath. Ma'am, you're holding up the line.
So? It's just me and you are a worker and I am a customer. And besides, I'm your aunt, meaning you should—
Her son cut her off. Nice cousin starting to get embarrassed. Mom, I'll go get the gushers and put everything back. Entitled aunt huffing loudly and annoyingly.
No, nice cousin. OP is a bagger. She can handle it. Now, get my gushers.
I sent Calvin Coolidge, so me and Melody worked together. The line was getting longer and people were getting impatient, but Entitled Aunt was getting impatient with me. Now everything I do, she critiques.
No, I want the eggs with the bread. OP, that's wrong. Don't just throw the tomatoes in, useless kid.
The cashier and I looked at each other. I didn't mind the way her face said, "Is this lady serious?" This wasn't even her full fury. Finally, we packed everything. Nice Kid grabbed the cart, but his mother grabbed his arm and yanked him. Entitled Aunt, glaring at Nice Kid.
No, OP is a bagger. Now come along.
I didn't argue. I grabbed the cart and went out. The air was cold and it felt nice, but the heat radiating off of Entitled Mother was getting hotter by the second. Then it happened.
Now, since you got my cart, come home with us.
I looked at her as if she was stupid. She's kidding, right? Entitled Aunts. I can't do that. I still have over 5 hours of work. There are others in need. I can't just leave. Entitled Aunt rolled her eyes.
Yeah, sure. Oh, we're here. Put everything in the back.
I did. The trunk of her car was filthy. It made me so sick. As a bagger, I've seen many types of trunks, but Entitled Aunt's was the worst. I was placing it all in as Entitled Aunt hovered over my shoulder. Nice Cousin was on standby. The moment I grabbed the eggs, when I placed them down, I felt a stinging pain on my hand. Entitled Aunt slapped me, confused and shocked. Ow! What the hell was that for? Entitled Aunt starting to growl at me.
1, don't curse at your family. And 2, what did I say? No eggs on the trunk floor. You could break them.
Ma'am, you never... She cut me off. Entitled Aunt huffing angrily.
There goes your tip. Nice Cousin, take the eggs and the bread before she ruins it. Terrible baggers, I swear.
I sighed, clenching my teeth. I finished quickly, wanting her to stop staring at me as I worked. The moment I closed the trunk and grabbed her cart, I wasn't expecting a tip from her anyways, when I felt a pain on the back of my head. She hit me, yet again, on the back of my head. This time, I was at my tipping point. I had a short fuse and I don't tolerate bullies, whether you are my boss, friend, or coworker. Infuriated and starting to turn red, I say, "Don't hit me again, you cooter. I am doing my job." Entitled Aunt getting equally as mad.
I told you to get in my car. You are my niece and a slave. All you do is bag food and get money. Baggers are useless when they can't even do their job. When we get home, your mother...
I stopped her, standing my ground against her, but she was just getting louder and louder. Me trying not to blow up. "Ma'am, I am a bagger of the Fort, name of base, commissary. I came here to do my job and that's all. I will not tolerate this. I gave you a warning once for hitting me, but now you've pushed it too far." She tried to cut in, but I sharply snarled at her, feeling my blood boiling. Entitled Aunt was like this with everyone, and I have had enough of it. I am getting my manager and the police for assaulting a worker. Now, good day. I went back, fuming and red. Awesome Manager and Calvin Coolidge were actually waiting for me outside. I went up to them, trying to put on my best smiling face. Calvin Coolidge very understanding. "It's okay. Don't put on a fake smile. I came out here with Awesome Manager because you were taking too long getting back. The camera on the outside of the building caught everything. The arguments, her hitting you." He trailed off, looking at our amazing manager. He's very understanding, and since he was like my grandma's and manager's good friend, he looked at me with a kind expression, but was talking kinda stern. "I heard everything. You shouldn't have cursed at them, but it was all caught on camera. I called the police because I later found out from the other baggers that she has been hitting them for a while now, mostly to our newer workers. I'm sorry about it." Me, pleasantly surprised. "Oh, no worries. Thank you, amazing manager." Amazing Manager patting my shoulder. "You are a great worker and you stood up for yourself. I'll tell your manager the truth if Entitled Aunt decides to spread lies about you." "Thanks." I took Calvin Coolidge and playfully pushed him. "We should get back to our job. We shouldn't have kept Melody for so long." Amazing Manager says, "No worries. 2 other coworkers are in for you and Calvin Coolidge. OP, go on a lunch break, and Calvin Coolidge, tell Melody she can go on her lunch break." And we all went inside. In the end, it was a good day. I made well over $100 in tips. The tax we had was every hour we worked. $1 was taken, but I still made a lot. I got picked up for my job by my father, who I told what happened. He was proud of me for standing up to entitled mother and telling her off because someone needed to. He got me a Crunch Bar and a huge orange Gatorade, my favorite. I'm sorry for this story being so long. To this day, I still respect baggers because it was my first ever job where I got my own money. So every time someone bagged my groceries, I would tip them a bit extra. Once I quit the job, some cashiers still recognized me and were very happy. My amazing manager was still there, and so was Calvin Coolidge and Melody. It was a great time. I made a bunch of other memories, both good and bad. I'm sorry for the typos. Thank you for reading my story. Okay, so I kind of forgot halfway reading through the story that CC stood for cool coworker and not Calvin Coolidge, but I'm keeping it in because Calvin Coolidge is very irrelevant to the story, so kind of funny to me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.